You've been in that moment before. You walk away from a conversation, replaying every word in your head. Your heart's racing, not because you won, but because you did not. You did not say what you wanted. You did not stand your ground. And now, hours later, you're crafting the perfect response in your mind, but they're long gone. And what's worse, they walked away with everything they wanted. Your time, your yes, your energy, while you stood there, polite, quiet, frozen. They played you. Again. But what if I told you it was not just social pressure? What if that moment you regret was not a failure, but a miscalculation you were never trained to solve? There's a brain hack you're about to learn, one that flips that entire script. It turns your quiet nature into a supercomputer, and it does not just protect you from manipulators, it outsmarts them. They won't see it coming, not because it's invisible, but because it's silent. And you were built for silence. Let's begin. They always talk fast, don't they? They fill every space with words, make every silence feel awkward, and push for instant answers. It's not a conversation. It's a trap disguised as charm. You've met them, the overconfident coworker who asks for favors like it's nothing, the friend who makes everything feel urgent, the partner who guilt trips you with a smile. They don't negotiate, they nudge. They corner you with words and win while you're still processing what just happened. But here's what they don't know. Their game relies on speed, yours on depth. Manipulators are script readers. You're a simulator. And today, you're going to learn how to run simulations so advanced, they'll never know you were 5 moves ahead the whole time. See, your brain does not fire like theirs. Social manipulators crave control. They thrive on dopamine, quick wins, fast reactions. They're sprinters. But you, the introvert, you're wired for something deeper. You process through acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that favors calm, focus, and learning. While they chase the spotlight, you're reading body language, scanning tone, building context. It's slower, but infinitely more powerful, if you know how to use it. That's where the brain hack comes in. It's called internal pre-framing simulation. Think of it like mental time travel. It lets you mentally rehearse moments before they happen, mapping outcomes, building emotional immunity, and pre-selecting responses that dismantle their tricks before they even begin. And the best part? You don't have to change who you are. You just train your brain to do what it already does, but faster, sharper, and under control. Let's break it down. Imagine someone tries to corner you, asks you a loaded question, maybe in a meeting or during a personal conversation. Before, you'd freeze or give a soft answer to avoid tension. But now, you've already run that scenario in your head. You know how it plays out. You've simulated the tone, the options, the possible traps, and you've preloaded your answer. Not robotic, not fake, but prepared. You don't react, you respond. That's the shift. You take power back, not by raising your voice, but by slowing your heart rate and stepping into clarity. Now let's put this into action. A manipulator in your office tries to dump work on you. Again. They start light. Hey, I know you're amazing at this. Think you could help me with that report? They're flattering you, creating urgency, playing nice. The old you might have said yes to avoid conflict. The trained you pause, just a breath, because here's where the power flips. You engage the mirror response technique. What's your deadline again? You don't say yes, you don't say no, you ask. And now, they're answering to you. You've broken their momentum. They lose control, even if they smile. That pause, that question, that's the simulation doing its work. Here's something no one tells you. Introverts are not slow. We're just multi-layered. You're processing 3-5 streams of data in real time. What they said, what they meant, what they did not say, how they looked when they said it. Where this is going? Social manipulators miss 90% of this because they're too focused on themselves. You absorb everything. And once you train your brain to trust that intake through simulation, visualization, and silence, you become unreadable. And unreadable people can't be manipulated. Let's talk about the moment that changes everything. It's subtle, almost invisible, but powerful. Someone tries to provoke you. They challenge you publicly, try to outshine you in a group, say something meant to pull a reaction, and you say nothing, just silence. You look at them, you hold the pause, and in that moment something flips. Everyone else is waiting for your response. The manipulator is expecting you to fumble, but you don't. Because silence, when used strategically, is not weakness, it's control. Let's go even deeper. Because now you've got the foundation, but you need the mental armor to walk into any room and know you won't just survive the conversation, you'll quietly control it. Think of this brain hack like planting landmines. Mental ones. You set the frame before the manipulator even knows a game has begun. Here's how. Before a tough conversation, write down 3 things. What they'll likely try to get from you, what emotion they'll use to do it, what you want, without them realizing it. This turns every interaction into a chess match, not a guessing game. Let me show you how this works in group settings, where introverts often feel invisible. Say you're in a meeting. A loud voice keeps cutting in, stealing credit, redirecting everything back to them. The old you'd wait for a pause that never comes, but now, you wait for them to finish, then calmly say, just to circle back, I mentioned that strategy earlier. I'd love to clarify how it connects to our goals. Boom, you reinsert your authority without drama, and when someone says, why are you so quiet? You don't apologize. You smile and say, because I'm watching everything. That one sentence does more than 10 loud ones ever could. Let's talk about manipulation through compliments. This one's subtle. Someone floods you with praise, calling you brilliant, the only one who gets it, or so different from the rest. It feels good, until you realize they're setting you up. Because praise is a leash, and once you accept it, you feel obligated to stay worthy of it. Your defense? Detachment. Say, I appreciate that. I try to stay focused on the work itself. You've just broken their leash. Now, let's tackle one of the most exhausting manipulation types, emotional pressure. Whether it's guilt, urgency, or passive aggression, you've probably been on the receiving end of a, so I guess you don't care type message. The temptation is to explain yourself, over-defend, make peace. But the high-level move? Stay grounded. Say, that's not true. And I'm not going to rush into proving otherwise. This freezes the game. The manipulator's biggest weapon, your emotional responsiveness, becomes a blank wall. That's where they collapse. Let's pause here. Because by now, you may feel something awakening, a realization. You've never been powerless. You've just been untrained. Introversion is not a limitation. It's an operating system. And this brain hack, it's the user manual. It trains you to predict, to simulate, to slow time and sharpen space. It teaches you not to fear the manipulator, but to study them, because the moment you stop reacting and start observing, you become dangerous. Here's a scenario no one warns you about. You're succeeding, quietly, consistently, and someone begins to feel threatened. They smile more, compliment more, invite you into safe alliances. But something's off. That's called social repositioning. They're trying to lock you down before you realize your leverage. Here's your response. I appreciate the support. I'll let my work keep speaking for me. No loyalty, no hostility, just clarity. That keeps you in the game without being a pawn. Now, let's zoom all the way out. Why does this work? Because the world is obsessed with volume. But volume fades, clarity sticks. Social manipulators want you loud and reactive because it makes you readable. But when you become unreadable, when your stillness becomes intentional, they panic because they don't know how to control what they don't understand. So here's your final challenge. This week, pick one situation where you know manipulation might show up. Instead of dreading it, simulate it. Visualize your tone, your boundaries, your mirror question, your silence. Prepare your posture, your pace, your exit. And when it happens, don't just survive it, win it quietly. Because when the manipulator finally realizes they can't bend you, when they pause and think, wait, What's happening here? That's when you know the brain hack worked. They did not just lose control, they lost access, and they'll never see it coming. Now it's your move. Drop a comment below, but don't just say great video. Tell me which part of this hit the hardest. Which tactic will you use first? Be specific. That's how you train your own mind to remember it. And if this unlocks something real in you, subscribe. Not just for more videos, but because this version of you, the one that sees the game now, deserves to keep sharpening. No hype, no noise. Just clarity, strategy, and silent wins. You're not here to fit in. You're here to outthink. Let's build that together.